Welcome to Conversations in the Closet. You are with Teresa Romer here, and my special guest today is Maz.
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm always good. It's so good to hear your voice.
Good to hear your voice too, Teresa.
How's your week going?
Um, so allergies are killing me, but everything else is good.
Yeah,
Every day is a blessing.
okay, so for our audience, I need to tell you, I have been begging this man to start getting massages like weekly. I mean, like, I mean, this man's life would improve. I
But
swear to God.
they don't know my life though, so we got to give them a little bit out there.
I
You want to do
understand.
it, or should I do it?
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, regardless of whether it's your life or someone else's life, I swear to God, if you would invest in getting a weekly massage, your life in general would improve probably over 60%. I mean, like, swear to God, like your outlook on life, your personality, your stress levels. I mean, like you're
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
and you know it because Moz talks to me on a pretty regular basis, and he was talking to me earlier today
Yeah,
and yesterday, and
yeah.
he saw what I
What
was
a
like.
what a treat you got! You got 2 days in a row.
No, but he saw what I looked like. He saw how I was talking and everything. Now tonight, he's like, "Wow, you're like a totally different person," and I'm like, "Oh, it's because I got a massage."
Yeah, I need to start doing that on a regular basis. But the problem is, my schedule. Now, if the viewers don't know my schedule, let me explain my schedule. I have close to over 300 clients that are uh, just flying around me every single day from different time zones and from different
and they're high.
countries and from different places. And it's
And they're high maintenance, just like me.
they're very high maintenance, and it's like, I don't hire too many people because then I can't control everybody's quality of work because I'm OCD. So it's like we're talking about less than 30 guys dealing with all these clients, and then Teresa on one side saying, no, Maz, you are mine. So it's so this is I if I sleep, maybe it's 3 to 4 hours. So I desperately
Oh,
do need. So I think the viewers now feel bad for me, and they know that
no.
I do need a massage.
Okay, but understand, like anything in life, if you want it bad enough, you make an appointment to have it happen, right? So just like my workout, I make sure my workout is listed in my appointment book and nobody gets to change
But
it. Like, here it
Teresa, you're
is.
the only 55-year-old that walks around with a six pack abs, of course, because that is your brand. But poor me, I'm not. My
No,
brand is not massages,
no,
but
no, 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 no. That's not my brand. I started taking care of myself as a small child because I was a sickly child, and I knew that in order to be like a regular child, I had to start working out and taking care of myself. And so that's just carried with me my whole entire life. So from a very young age, I made sure that my workout or my time to work out was my time. Like, nobody got to take that away from me.
yeah,
And that's almost like my massages. I know if I'm going to be a better person for the world, I need to have that weekly massage to get rid of the stress and the tension and the backaches and everything that goes with it.
right, right. No, I agree with you 100%. I even was thinking about, even if some of us don't make it to get out of the office to work, we'll probably have someone come in and give us a massage.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
There you
My
go.
neck has been killing me lately, so I'm gonna take your advice on that, like I take other advices from you. Because
I mean, like once a
you
week, you could,
are you
once
are
a
the
week,
motivational speaker, so I'm gonna.
once a week, you could have some guy come in or girl, whatever, and even if it's chair massages, so that you could like get your backs and your necks worked on, it would be worth it.
You're the stress whisperer.
But guess what, guys? That's not the topic of today.
What is the topic? Hit me with your best shot.
Now you sound like you're in the 80s. Uh, Basically, today we're going to talk about what it takes to make a marriage work.
Oh my God! Why do you
And
always do this to me, Teresa?
no, I
I
guess
think you leash me into a little corner, and you keep sucking life out of me, talking about marriage and women and this and that. Why can't you bring up some fun stuff? Talk about Playboy or something.
well, this is kind of playboyish because guess what? If I don't get my weekly massage, my husband doesn't like me.
Your husband loves you regardless of what you do.
But I'm saying that weekly massage helps my marriage work, believe it or not, because I am a much better, happier person because of it.
If that's what it takes to make my marriage happy, I will get that massage for that woman twice a week.
But you know what's really sad about today is people today seem to think that their relationships and their marriages are just disposable. Like, oh, it's not what it used to be, or I'm not having fun anymore, or I don't know. I think I'll just get divorced and move on. It's like everything's so disposable nowadays. It's like
I
don't
absolutely agree with you on that.
don't stick in there, don't fight for it, don't work it out. Like, oh, just get rid of it and just go get another one. Like taking the trash out, it's like, here, I'm tired of this. Let's take the trash out and go get some new. I mean, like, how sad is that?
First of all, it's pretty difficult to replace someone that quickly. And if you do, then there's obviously something wrong with you, because you can't just replace people like that. Second of all, in America, it has become the most fashionable thing is to get a divorce.
Yeah.
And divorce attorneys are just making money left and right, dragging these things on for years. So I do believe in that old-fashioned, you fight for what you believe in, and you fight for that true love. I don't believe in divorces. I grew up in a divorced family, but my parents so respectfully and fondly of each other divorced, and that their only problem was they still love each other like crazy, but they were two powerful people that didn't want to have anything to do with each other.
Right.
So it was a different story on that. But I don't believe in divorces. I'm not a person to believe in divorces unless it gets to a point where there's just really nothing there to save anymore. And you tried everything.
Okay, so why do you think people have what do I want to call it? Why do you think people cheat on each other then?
I don't think cheating is a part of divorce. I think, as a matter of fact, people that do cheat want to have a calm life and still have that fun life, and they get a balance out of it. A lot of men, however, or women are cowards, and they do cheat, but they also don't want to work on their relationship with their marriage partner. I don't know. I see it as an issue. If you do cheat, there's something lacking in your marriage, and maybe that could be worked out. Unless you're just you're this crazy sexaholic that just needs to have sex left and right, and you prefer to have it with strangers over than your partner.
No, so say someone's cheating on their spouse,
Right.
so they would rather continue to cheat on their spouse rather than communicate with their spouse and try to work out what the problem is and what is lacking in their relationship.
I believe communication is so good. Up to a point, you should have it. What do you think of that?
Well, here's my top list of what's important in a marriage. You can agree or disagree, okay? So I think trust is number one in my
Right.
book.
Yeah.
Trust is so important. Communication is number two. I think you have to communicate. If you're unhappy and if you're not getting what you want in your relationship, you have to communicate with that person and let them know that you're not getting what you need anymore, and step it up or else. I think compromise. I think compromise is a huge. Like, we all have been raised in different backgrounds, different families. We all have different beliefs. So I truly believe we have to be able to compromise. And you have to have common interest, and you truly have to respect each other.
Absolutely. And the more you are, I think the more you grow up and the more you mature, the more you see that these things do matter a lot. But I still think that if you still hold on to someone, there's always a way to still save it.
True. And then I think I think religious beliefs come in there a little bit. Like, you have to have that common ground kind of thing. And then, of course, sex and love.
Of course, of course.
The sex always plays a role.
You know, a lot of people that I know that did have you know, these things pop up in their lives. They've always told me like it's not a sexual thing. I guess it's maybe that person is giving them more of an attention than their own partner is.
Right.
And I think in the olden days, you would hear more that, oh, he was just a playboy, or she was, he was working all the time and she was home alone.
Right.
And, but now I think it's just more of that bonding of an emotional bond that maybe puts people to find someone else.
Right. So you're like you said, sometimes it's not the sexual need, it's someone paying attention to you, someone needing you, you
Right.
know. It's not just someone to have sex with, it's someone that makes you feel special and needed and wanted and all of that. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so let me ask you another question. Do you think a man or a woman are meant to be monogamous forever in their lifetime? I don't think God, I don't know. I don't think God made us that way. I don't, I mean, like, what other animal on this earth is monogamous? I mean, like apes, giraffes, I mean, elephants. I mean, like, there is no one animal on this earth that is totally 100% monogamous.
But are we animals?
Well, we are an animal in some way.
Maybe you are in bed, but
Well, we know that's true.
I don't know. That's a good question, but I'm telling you, it's not. See, animals, they don't have that emotion. It's more physical.
Right, but
Uh,
I'm just saying, do you think that a man or a woman are supposed to be monogamous their entire lifetime on this earth? You personally.
I I believe that there is. I believe in. Um, I believe in your soulmate. And I believe that if you do find that soulmate, yes, yes. The history has shown us that it does exist.
So you don't get tired of the same person.
Teresa, I think nowadays, if you get tired of someone, it's mostly because of lack of attention and lack of time in a marriage.
Right.
I don't think it's lack of sex or lack of physical attraction or lack of any of these. I think it's lack of attention. I think attention and communication, as you said, is crucial in a relationship.
But I continually hear of these people that don't sleep together. I have neighbors. I have multiple neighbors that don't sleep together. And I'm like,
knock on
what?
their doors and help them out and just
No, but I'm just,
guide them.
no, but I'm just like, how do you have, okay. And then, I asked one person, why don't you sleep with your husband? Oh, he snores too much. Well, why don't you sleep with your husband? Oh, I don't know. I just don't even like him anymore. And yet they're still married, and I'm just like,
Yeah, well, because some of those men are really scared of that divorce and what they have to pay out. Um, I just, if I ever get to that I personally, if I ever get to that point where I will walk into my house and I will feel like I am somewhere in a strange place and everybody around me does not make me feel comfortable, I will end it. I will end it and I will pay whatever I have to pay that woman comfortable, because that woman was the mother of my children. And I think if a man is trying to cheat out his woman in money during a divorce, is not a man.
right, right.
So I think whenever you get to that point and you just feel like, I mean, you're telling me, oh, they don't want to have sex together and they don't want to, I'm sure your husband snores. I snore. I think a lot of us snore. I don't
My
know.
husband does not snore.
Well, he's, listen,
No.
listen. Okay, you two, I'm beginning to think that you're not even humans. You may be some fucking aliens from a different planet that are so just gorgeous couple, sexually active, blowjob Sundays, this and this and that. He doesn't snore. I have the perfect. Come on, Teresa. Well, look at us humans now. Okay.
No, do you understand that I have never ever been with a man that snored?
Listen,
Because guess what? No,
I've
no,
girlfriends
no.
that have snored.
Just guess what? Guess what? Because the minute we started dating and the minute we finally started having sex, if he snored, I was out of there. I don't do snores. I don't
Okay,
do
so
snores.
you and your neighbor should maybe open up a club for anti-snorers. You know, and just
I'm just,
against
I mean,
them.
like, I'm just saying there's people that have lists when they're, dating. They're like, oh, it can't be a smoker. Oh, they can't do this. Oh, they can't do that. One of mine was I did not want to snore. And so, honest to God, I've never ever dated a man that snored. Honest to God, because if he did, he was out of here. And I'm telling you what, the only time my husband has ever snored was when he had a health problem.
This time, when you come down here to California, you better get a second room because I'm gonna leave the door open and I'm gonna snore the fucking whole night. And I want to see what you're gonna do.
I will
wanna
come in there. I will come in there and beat you up.
I want to see what you're going to do because as a child, I had polyps, in my nose. So, and I didn't get them removed because I used to have
See?
bronchitis. My mom said, I don't want to touch it that much. It'll
Take them out. Take them
affect
out.
you.
Take them out.
Yeah,
Take 'em out.
I'm glad I didn't though, because it kind of would have affected my lungs a little bit more. But I mean, it depends on how I put my head. But my wife, that poor woman, has not once told me, like, you're annoying me. She's always woken me up and said, Moz, get a drink of water or move your head or
Turn over, whatever.
turn over or die or something.
But it's funny because it's funny. Every time my husband has snored, he's had a health problem. So now I've come to learn that with my husband, if he is snoring, we have a health problem and we
What
need
do
to
you
get
mean
to the
you had a
doctor.
health problem? Like what
Okay,
happened last time?
Okay, so last time he was snoring,
Yeah.
we went to the doctor. We said, he's snoring, he can't lose weight, he's gaining weight, we don't know what's wrong. His thyroid had died.
Gotcha.
So because his thyroid had died, it had caused him to gain weight, he started snoring. Boom. Okay, another time he was snoring. We wanted to know why. Like, this man never snores. What the hell is his problem? Well, his heart rate was like at 220. His heart rate was totally irregular, so it was causing him to snore. So I have come to learn with my husband, if he is snoring, we have a serious health problem.
Well, that's good. At least that
No, it's good.
it's a warning.
Yeah. Right, but I'm just saying, I
I just feel sad for my wife because if I happen to be dying, she won't even know the difference.
No, but I told my husband, okay, I was like, okay, your thyroid, you're on thyroid medicine. Now you need to lose 50 pounds. Get busy.
That poor man.
Or you're going to sleep upstairs. I don't care. Take your choice. Pick your choice.
That poor man. Sometimes I just want to see Lamar and give him a big hug. And drink his blood and become him. But yeah, I totally I see what you're saying. But I think that if you love someone, there's still that push to fight for that marriage and to especially when you have kids. You want to, and those kids have grown up with both parents. It's very difficult to all of a sudden leave them. Marriage is not an easy thing to maintain. So I always say it's like a Maserati. Maseratis are high maintenance cars. You have to just constantly, I don't know, improve it and constantly take care of it and nurture it and keep it alive. And sometimes with our lives lately, we all seem to forget to do that. Because once we all get home, we're all tired in our own ways. Like last time my wife was at the Met Gala, doing her job with her clients. When she came home, she was so exhausted, I couldn't even go around her because they get to the point where you're just like, fuck off. I just need to get her some rest. That's just all of us. What we're doing in our daily lives is just Yeah.
Did she literally say fuck off, or was it just
No,
the
no,
eye
it was
look?
a
Or
kind
just
one.
the eye look?
Oh yeah, yeah. The look, the one I told you your other podcast when my mother would look at me, I would just melt. I literally married my mom, so when she looks at me like that, I jump away like 2, 3 houses down and I disappear. But it's still to me that still is, the mother of my children. I don't know. It's just a different. I see it as a different thing. I went through a divorce, and although my mother provided me with everything in this life, I don't want ever my kids, if we ever go down that road, to experience that.
Right.
I believe in old fashioned. Let's find a solution for it.
Right.
Divorce is not good for anyone, unless I told you when you get to that point where you're just like, where the hell am I? What am I doing? Or
Right.
if you
Right.
have you're getting abused, or if mental abuse, physical abuse,
Right.
sexual abuse, things like that.
Right.
Of course, but
Right.
I
But
just
it's like I try to tell people though, you have one life. You have one life. And God forbid somewhere back when you're like, 90, 100 years old, you look back and go, "Oh, I wasn't really happy for those like 10, 20 years. Can I go back and redo them?" There is no redo. You know, this
no,
isn't this is the real deal. This is the real show. This is, so if you're that unhappy, I do believe you need to get divorced. I mean, like, I don't think they're disposable, but you do need to get divorced. And I've been
yeah,
divorced before. I personally have been divorced before, so I know what it's like. But I would rather get divorced than stay in a marriage where I'm totally 100% unhappy
yeah,
and never get to get those years back.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I see it like that. If you're really unhappy and you really need to get out of it, you got to get out of it. That's a
Right,
different story.
right,
If you're sitting there and being a little Barbie doll, and saying, "Oh, I want to be picky about this and picky about that," tough shit. Life ain't perfect. People are not perfect. None of us are perfect. Are you perfect, Teresa? I
no,
swear to God, if you say yes.
no, the perfect people are already upstairs.
There you go. So it's no one's perfect. We all have our, flaws and this and that.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway here is, you've got to do what's important to you. Um, I guess if you've tried everything, if you've honestly been able to say, I have tried everything, it's not going to work and I have to get divorced, so be it. But I know when I've gotten divorced before, I literally tried everything in the world because I wanted to make sure before I got divorced, I said to myself, I gave it 150%. I don't know what else I could do to save this marriage. I'm
Yeah.
not going to have any regrets.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree.
So, the takeaway here would be just, do what's important to you. And if you want to devote the time and make it work, you will. And if you don't, you don't. And I don't know. Just,
Yeah, one of my clients, Ken from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, he always says, I don't need a damn therapist to save my marriage. If I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And if I'm ready to keep this marriage, I'm ready to keep this marriage. So it's pretty simple. I guess you decide on it. You don't need people telling you what to do on it.
right,
You know the answer yourself.
right,
You know,
right.
each
But
one
it,
of us knows that deep within us.
but it's just kind of sad how people have decided that marriages are so disposable. That's what really bothers me is like, it's just so easy to throw in the towel now instead of like really trying to work through it. I mean, like, I can remember my grandma saying, "Oh my God, there'd be times I would hate your grandpa, but it just didn't matter. I just stuck in there." So I don't know. I look back and go, well, were they really stupid and they just stuck in there because they didn't know any better? you know,
No,
or
it's because they had that old-fashioned
right,
respect
but
and
what happened to that old fashioned respect?
it,
I mean, like,
like, society ruined it. Society ruined it. Generations of growth and wealth and peeking into the next levels of just nonsense has destroyed, the normal old-fashioned behaviors.
right, right.
Just even look at the 80s. Love used to be so much more passionate in 80s. Just look at the movies. You know? I'm serious. I swear to
Hey,
God,
hey,
when you look at
I
80s
lived
movies, you get goosebumps.
I lived it. I know.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's everything is changed. I was a kid in the 80s, a little,
I was an adult.
but still, it's like you look back and you watch all them 80s movies, you get goosebumps. You look at all the 30s and 40s movies and you see love. It's like now love is it's different. It's different.
It
You
is.
don't know if your friends love you, you don't know if your partners love you. You don't know, if your coworkers love you. It's weird. It's become a different, I don't know, it's just a different environment.
Yeah. Yeah. So once again, listeners, I think the takeaway here is, just do what's right for you and what you feel is important, and live with the consequences, right? But just remember some of the key points that I make of making a marriage work are, trust and, of course, commitment and compromise and communication, attention, of course, sex. I mean, where would the roamers be without sex? My God.
The alien roamers.
We're one of a kind, that.
Absolutely.
So with that said, guys, just make sure you get out there and find me everywhere on social media. I am everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it. I'm out there, even Pinterest. Get on the YouTube, subscribe to everything I've got on YouTube. So with that said, Maz, thanks again for a wonderful evening, and we will all have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Teresa. You too, my love. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.